The rain fell softly against Ion's window, each drop tracing a path that seemed to mirror the quiet ache in his heart. The world outside moved on, unaware that inside his small apartment, everything felt paused between what was and what could be. He had always felt different. Not better, not worse, just misplaced. Since childhood, he carried memories that didn't belong to this world. Dreams of endless silver skies. Fields of light that sang instead of swayed. And a presence. Always a presence. Someone who stood beside him, though he never saw their face. Until February 18th. He didn't know why that date felt important. But for weeks the number appeared everywhere. On receipts, on clocks, in random posts online. It followed him like a whisper he couldn't quite hear. That evening, unable to ignore the pull, he left his apartment and walked toward the forest at the edge of the city. The rain grew heavier, but he didn't turn back. Because for the first time in years, his heart wasn't heavy. It was guiding him. Deep inside the forest, the air felt different. Alive. He stopped when he saw her. She stood beneath an ancient tree, her hand resting against its trunk as if she were listening to its heartbeat. Her name came to him before he even thought to ask. Lara. She turned slowly, her eyes meeting his. And in that moment the world stopped pretending to be ordinary. You remembered, she said softly. Her voice carried the same warmth as the presence from his dreams. In's breath caught. I don't understand, he admitted. She smiled, not with sadness but with patience. You weren't meant to. Not until today. Thunder rolled in the distance, but neither of them moved. Because something far greater than the storm had begun. Elara stepped closer. You've always felt it, haven't you? She asked. He nodded. The loneliness. The feeling that Earth was home. But not your origin. He nodded again. She reached out, stopping just short of touching his hand. We chose to come here. The words should have sounded impossible. But instead they felt like truth. We came to help Gaia heal, she continued. And we promised we would find each other again. Ion's heart pounded. Find each other. Her eyes softened. Yes. A tear slipped down her cheek, though she was smiling. We promised we wouldn't let this world change who we were. Memories flickered in his mind. Silver skies. Fields of light. And her. Always her. I know you, he whispered. She nodded. You always have. They walked together through the forest, their shoulders nearly touching. Neither of them rushed. Because something sacred was unfolding. I've waited my whole life, Elara said. For what? For you to remember yourself. Ion looked at her. What happens now? She stopped walking. Now, she said gently, your real life begins. The rain began to fade. Above them the clouds slowly parted, revealing a sky full of stars, brighter than he had ever seen. Elara looked up. They're watching. Who? Our family. He followed her gaze. For the first time he didn't feel small beneath the universe. He felt known. Days passed but nothing felt ordinary anymore. Ion noticed things he never had before. The way trees seemed to lean toward Elara when she walked past. The way animals approached her without fear. The way his own heart felt calm when she was near. One evening they sat on a hill overlooking the city. The lights below flickered like distant memories. Do you ever regret coming here? He asked. She shook her head. No. Even though it hurt. She looked at him. Especially because it hurt. He didn't understand. She smiled. Pain is what taught us how to love this world. Her words settled deep inside him. Because he realized. He loved it too. Not for its perfection. But for its struggle. February 18th arrived again. But this time he wasn't afraid of it. He welcomed it. Elara met him in the forest. The turning point isn't something that happens to you, she said. It's something you choose. Choose what? She placed her hand over his heart. To stay awake. The moment she did, warmth spread through his chest. Not physical warmth. Something deeper. Something eternal. "You're not alone anymore," she whispered. He realized. He never had been. The world didn't end. It didn't shatter. Simply became clearer. Colors felt richer. Moments felt meaningful. Love. Love felt infinite. Not the kind of love that fades. The kind that remembers. One night, as they stood beneath the stars, Ion asked the question he feared most. "What if we forget again?" Elara smiled. "Then we'll find each other again." She looked at him with certainty. "We always do." He believed her. Not because he understood everything, but because his soul did. Years passed. The world changed. But they didn't lose themselves again. Because February 18th wasn't just a date. It was a promise. Promise to remember. Promise to stay awake. Promise to love. Not just each other, but this fragile, beautiful world. And in 2026, Ion finally understood why he came here. It wasn't to escape loneliness. It wasn't to find answers. It was to find her. And through her, find himself. One evening, as golden light filled the horizon, Elara spoke softly. "We did it." "What?" "We didn't forget." He smiled. "No," he said. "We didn't." She rested her head gently against his shoulder. Not out of need, but out of peace. They stood there watching the sun disappear. Not as strangers. Not as wanderers. But as two souls who crossed the universe. Just to come home together. And somewhere beyond the stars, Gaia smiled. Because her starseeds had remembered. And their love had changed everything. Forever.